Alright, shalawam. First off, I want to say all praises to Yahawah, bahasham Yahawashi, bahasham Kodash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of GMS, and to the elect, doing the work in sincerity and in truth. Shalawam. This GMS Precepts, Nazar Khad here. And I got this article, not article, I'm sorry, this video here playing. I paused it because obviously I don't want any strikes, you know. But Trump, this is live. As you can see here, it's live, and it says here, Trump signs law creating regulations for dollar-linked stablecoin cryptocurrencies, right? I got the article here as well. Here it is. I had to pause this too. The fucking, come on, man. Fucking shit here. Yeah, so this is Reuters. It says Trump, come on, man. It says Trump signs stablecoin law as crypto industry aims for mainstream adoption, right? And you already know where I'm headed with this, right? They want this to become mainstream, right? You had Klaus Schwab. He stated out of his own mouth. He said that he wants the new monetary system to become digital. No, I'm sorry. He said he wants the next digital monetary system to be implantable. You see? Implantable. Let me I had it pulled up here. Let me just get that. Let me just go to it. You already know. Blah blah blah. The MOTB. MOT to the B. It says, is this where? No. I'm sorry. It's a little down here. Here it is. So it says, I'll get to the point, right? This is Revelation, as you know, should be well known or is well known. If not, listen up. This is Revelation 13 and 16. It says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, right? So that mark, as is been broken down for years, that mark is referring to an implantable device, right? If you go into that word mark, it goes back to the word thawa, right? That mark, let's go get it, which means something implanted, you know? In Greek, it's charagma. I'm sorry, thawara, I'm sorry, is Ezekiel. I'm sorry, is Ezekiel 9 and 4. I'm sorry. Right? This in this one, in this verse, the mark is charagma, which charagma is something. It says it here. It's an stamp, an imprinted mark. Okay. Right. It's funny, and it says here a mark, the mark branded upon horses, it represents a branding upon horses that represents something owned by the person that, if a horse or a cattle or whatever, they have a brand. Once you look at that brand, you know where that cow or the bull or the horse, you know where it belongs to. So it's in the same sense. So it's the same scenario here, right? That mark shows that you belong to Esau. That's the whole point of this mark he wants to do. Okay? That's the whole point of this mark, this charagma. You see, it goes into it. It says a scratch or etching, a stamp. See? It says as what? A badge of servitude. Right? And this is why Yahawashi, the Most High, didn't want us to receive of that mark, because you're showing servitude onto the wrong master. Now, when I say we, I'm referring to the Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. He warned us to not take of this mark. Okay? Imprinted mark. So it says a mark stamped on the forehead on the right hand. That's the mark branded upon horses, the thing carved, sculpture, graven work. Right, so that's the point. It says so. An imprinted mark, and it's something. And it's it's a badge, like it says here. It's a badge of servitude. So you're saying essentially who your master is, and that's what's the first law in the first commandment is to not worship any other god, man. You know, because the Most High is a jealous power. So it's the reason why that's the first commandment. All right. It says, He causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, meaning everybody's going to have it, right? He wants everybody to receive that mark, right? Now, that mark is going to contain a form of, I just Googled some stuff here. It is going to contain, where's the article? Here it is. It is going to contain not only money, right? But it's going to contain information. Okay, it's gonna house a lot of your information, and like I said, like we've been saying through the Spirit, starting with our apostles for years, they're gonna try to promote this as some form of super convenience. This is real. This is gonna be so much simpler. You're just gonna be able to swipe the chip that's in your hand, and we'll get all your information. You can open doors. You can pay for things, which which a lot of countries have already adopted this technology. This is why we say through the Spirit that we don't have it. The chip is basically it's here already. That technology is here already, right? I believe Sweden. I did a video years ago. I did a video where they had people on the train. They were paying with a chip. They would the what is it? The conductor would walk around. He would walk up and down on the train or in the aisle, and he would swipe people. Instead of swiping or taking tickets, he would just swipe their hand, boop, and they would pay. This is years ago. This isn't. I think it was one of those European countries. It's Sweden, Switzerland, one of them motherfuckers. But that technology is here already. You even have people here that already. Matter of fact, you had the company in Minneapolis or some country. They had all their employees have that chip, that NFC technology, where they would just come in, punch in. You see, they would open, they would turn on their computers. You have people that use that technology's here, man. That's that's pretty old now. You know. But pretty soon it's gonna move. See, but you see what they're doing. This stable coin or some form of monetary system or cryptocurrency is going to weasel itself in there. It's going to be included in there. And like I said, I started off the show saying what Carl Schwab was quoted in saying he wanted the next, or he claimed the next. I'm saying it verbatim. He said the next currency. I believe he said the next currency is going to be implantable. Okay. And like I said, they're going to promote it as something super convenient and something that you must have type shit. Oh, shit. Excuse me. I got to pause that. Right. So here's a summary. It says law requires tokens to be backed by liquid assets. Measure its first major crypto law and law enacted in the U.S. Some crypto firms look to gain bank licenses. You see? Why would these crypto firms look to gain bank licenses so they can start issuing them? Right? It's no coincidence that they want the tokens, right, to be backed by assets. Matter of fact, it's in this thing because I'll use my shit, stablecoin, Chat GPT, right? It says. So I asked what stablecoin is. It says stablecoin is a type of cryptocurrency, which basically is a digital currency designed to maintain a stable value by being pegged to a reserve. Sorry. by being pegged to a reserve asset like fiat currencies like the US dollar, the euro, commodities like gold and silver, or other cryptocurrencies, right? So, key features: price stability. That's why it's called stable coin. It's meant to be stable, unlike Bitcoin and Ethereum, I guess, whatever that is. It says is designed to be stable and to avoid price swings. Backed by reserves. Most are backed 1 to 1, right? 1 to 1 by actual assets stored in bank accounts or vaults used for transactions, right? So this is why uh, some crypto firms look to gain bank license. They want to they want to start becoming the banks. Basically, they want to, because cryptocurrency is something that's, I'll Google it, right? Cryptocurrency is a digital currency, often called crypto, is a form of digital security using cryptography. Unlike traditional currencies issued by central banks, cryptocurrencies operate on decentralized networks, most notably blockchain technology, eliminating eliminating the need for intermediaries like banks or governments. Bitcoin, created in '09, stands as a pioneer in cryptocurrency and remains widely used and recognized. Blah, blah. But guess what? They're trying to. That's why I said they're trying to weasel their way into it, right? Because normally, it's not issued by banks. It's not issued by banks, and it eliminates the need for intermediaries like banks or governments. But guess what? The government is trying to. That's why he signed a bunch of shit. You know, this guy, DJ Trump, DJ Nero, he signed a bunch of shit into law so the government can be up on cryptocurrency and start issuing them. This is what eventually it's going to, the goal is to replace, it's going to replace the current monetary system. It's going to be the new dollar. This is why Klaus, I keep saying it, third Klaus Schwab was quoted in saying he basically wants the next currency to be digital and implantable. Then I asked, what do you mean by pegged? What's pegged? It's seg request, da da da. Pegged is basically it's backed by whatever a dollar, whether it's a euro or the U.S. dollar. It's backed. It's 1 to 1. It's backed 1 to 1 by whatever monetary system it's linked to. And then I asked some other questions, but I want to ask something I forgot. I wanted to ask a question here, but I asked this. I said, will this or can this stable coin lead to replacing current monetary systems? I said yes. Can potentially disrupt or even replace parts of the system, but it depends on how they are designed, adopted, and regulated, right? So this is a key thing. They want to, and this is why the government is trying to weasel their way into it. They want to. Well, it is designed to be. It is designed. The design of it is already there, but it currently is being adopted and regulated by the government. Then it goes into ways stablecoin could replace. Um, Now I remember. I remember what I wanted to ask. Then it goes stablecoin could replace and manage it faster and cheaper, instant global transactions. So these are some of the ways that the pros that it's going to say that it's this is the sell that we're going to be told how its stablecoin is better than a dollar. You can transfer money better. Look, it's going to replace Swift and Western Union. Smart contract, if digital dollar alternative. If trusted stablecoins like USDC become widely used, people may hold them instead of traditional bank deposits or even physical cash. See? Lower fees and lower fees than wire transfers or credit cards. You see? I didn't see that. Instant global transaction without bank intermediaries. Oh, look how fast it is. I can You know, normally when you transfer money, it might take a day or two. Oh, but with stablecoin, you see, it's faster and cheaper. Look, it's faster. You can get it within the hour. You don't gotta wait a few days. You know what I'm saying? Oh, lower fees. They're lower transfer fees. You know, credit card is easier. You know what I mean? So they go into see, governments want to control monetary policy, prevent. See, these are some of the red the negatives. Governments want to control monetary policy, prevent money laundering, and even protect their national currency. Example: U.S. regulators are already moving to restrict a tightly regulated stablecoin. So let me see. So the bottom line, it says stablecoins might not replace the monetary system entirely, but they are already changing how money moves, especially in crypto, remittances, and finances. The future may involve a mix of stablecoins, CBDCs, government-backed traditional fiat, which they're gonna get rid of the traditional fiat. That's like the dollar. That's like the physical money. This is gonna be out the window. Then I said, what regulations did Trump sign today? The Genius Act. So it says issuers of U.S. dollar pegged stablecoins must hold at least $1 or short-term treasury for every coin. Blah blah blah. All this bullshit. Anti-money laundering sanctions. See, so they basically, the Genius Act was just a way for the government to have more control over it. You know, to have control over this stablecoin. Why? Because eventually it's going to replace the dollar. So I remember what I wanted to ask. And I wanted to do this live too. How can I ask this? I want to ask uh how can I excuse me while I think of a question here. How um when and if it replaces the dollar, can it negatively, how you spell that shit? Negatively. I think I spelled it wrong. Negatively uh, affect or when and if it replaces the dollar, how can it have a negative effect? Yeah, on the people and countries. I want to see what it says. I have an idea that uses it because I think I asked this question before. But basically, it says when and if it replaces the dollar, how can it negatively affect? I feel fucked up. How can it negatively affect the people and countries that use it? And basically, I have an idea what it's gonna say. It's gonna pretty much say the government will have a lot of control over it, a lot of control. Because right now, that's the main reason why they want to get rid of the dollar and replace fiat currency altogether. Because that way they can have total control. You know, they can have total control over the people. You know, if they want to take your money, they can take it. If they want to deduct money, they can take it. If they want to, um, if you owe a fine, they can take it. If they want to turn your damn thing off, if they want to turn it off, they can. You know. Let's see what it says. Stablecoin. See, if stablecoin, especially a privately issued, and this is the reason. Well, let me go back to this. Revelation 13, man. This is the. Oh damn. this is the reason why they want to issue this. Not only total control, but that physical incision, that brand that they put on you, that mark, okay, is signing your allegiance to Esau. And real quick, before I go to what ChatGPT answered, right? Because this is, this is a warning, is only to Israel, right? Um, there's a warning that was given to us that we do not receive or take of that chip or that mark, and the penalty of the ones that do, right? If you're not of Israel, if you're not an Israelite, you're going to get destroyed. You're going to die on this side anyway, right? You're irrelevant. But there's a warning for Israel, right? Because you belong to the Most High, right? The other nations, they don't have a power, but we do. That's what makes us special, right? So it says, excuse me, Revelation 14:9, it says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine. The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. Meaning, you gonna get smoked, right? And it says, "In the smoke of their torment, and the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark in his name." Right. So basically, you're gonna die. You're gonna die here in that lake of fire, right? Right. When it goes into, you shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. His indignation means the destruction. Right. You're gonna die in the destruction of America. Even is whether it be by the troops, whether it be by race riots or whatever, when all chaos happens, even if you last uh, to the day the missiles are shot, you're gonna die in the missiles, man. Right? Because the Most High gave us a strict warning onto, right? Because you see here it says, I didn't even notice, it says doom for worshippers of the beast. A worshiper, if you worship in the beast, you're only supposed to worship Yahawashi. If you're worshiping the beast, you're basically telling the Most High that I don't worship you, I worship the beast. We know that beast is Esau. Okay? Now, back to it now. Let's go back to the answer. So I asked what? I said when and if it replaces the dollar, how can it negatively affect the people and country? So it says if stablecoin, especially a private issue like the USDC or USDT, were to replace the US dollar or other national currencies, it could have major negative consequences for both individuals and countries. Here's a breakdown. So it says loss of financial privacy. You see, what I said they'll have total control. It says stablecoin transactions are traceable. Governments or private companies could track spending habits, freeze wallets, or deny access to funds. And this is what they're doing already in China, right? They have something called a social credit score, right? If you cross the street if you jaywalk too many times, if you have tickets that are parking tickets that are unpaid, or you get a strike on your social credit score. I don't know if it's they add points or just deduct points, but you get that, and then so you get a bad social credit score, and they do so with this. If you I don't know what they're gonna call it here, but if you have something what's equivalent to that social credit score here in America, They can just deny access to your funds. They can freeze. What? Let's say you ain't pay a fine, or you didn't pay a court ticket, or you missed a court date. They can freeze your wallet, man. Let's say if you owe, and this is really gonna affect Jake. Let's say if you have a, you're on what is it you're on child support. I had a brain freeze. If you're on child support, what you think they gonna do? They're gonna freeze. They can deduct if there's money in it. They'll take it, right? Or they'll just freeze your wallet so you can't do shit, right? Dependence on private companies. Most stable coins are run by corporations. If they collapse, get hacked, or act in bad faith, people could lose their money, similar to a bank run, but with less protection. You see? Fees and gatekeeping. Some stablecoins charge for moving or withdrawing funds, especially across platforms. You could end up paying more just to use your own money. No FDC protection. Unlike money in the U.S. banks, stablecoins aren't federally insured. If the issuer fails, you're not guaranteed to get your money. You see? Um, Technology barrier. Older, rural, or less tech-savvy populations could be excluded. Don't worry. They're going to try to get everybody. Um, for countries, loss of monetary control, currency flight. Citizens might dump weak local currencies in favor of stablecoin. I don't know how they're gonna do it. I don't know if they'll just make one universal um, coin where you could just use it anyway. Where I'm not, I don't know. I don't know if that's possible. I'm not too, I'm not that deep into economics and exchange rates and all that. I don't know how they'll do that. But I know every country, you can see every country is moving towards a digital currency. You see, tax avoidance transactions in stablecoins are harder for governments to track and tax, which could reduce revenue for schools. Nah, who gives a fuck. Foreign dominance of the if the dominant stablecoin is U.S. based, America could gain enormous financial influence over other countries' economies, a form of digital dollar imperialism. Yeah, that could be a goal. Real world example: when Facebook and Meta tried to launch Libra, deemed stablecoin regulators around the world panicked, fearing it would destabilize local economies. Bottom line, it says replacing traditional money with stable could be useful, but if done without strong public oversight, it risks creating digital monopolies, weakening national sovereignty like other nations, and exposing everyday people to greater surveillance and financial risk, which is the goal. Let me know if you want a chart comparison monetary. Anyway, or if you like historical examples of monetary collapse triggered by foreign currency adoption. Nah, we're good. All right, so I think that's good. Right. So like I said, when I asked ChatGPT, I said when and if it replaces the how can stablecoin negatively affect the people? It gave me a little breakdown. It says what it exposes everyday people to greater surveillance surveillance and financial risk, right? And you'll have a loss of control of your own money. Yeah, loss of financial privacy. Oh, loss of monetary control. If people use stablecoins instead of local currency, central banks can set interest rates or control inflation, which could cripple economic policy. Right? This stood out to me though. Loss of financial privacy. We know that's the main goal. The main goal of Esau is to be as the Most High, Ezekiel 28, and they want to they want to have total control in everything, and they want to be able to track everything. All technology is moving towards being able to track the people, right? And this just adds to it. This just adds to the beast. This just adds to the image of the beast, right? So that's pretty much it. Like I said, I did a live. I got sparked by this live going on right now. This is probably over, but Trump just signed a lot of. He signed what is it called? the Genius Act. Okay, the Genius Act received support from nearly half of the Democratic members and most Republicans. Right, so it's basically this is a summary. It requires be backed by basically it's so the government can have more control over cryptocurrency. And why? Because eventually they want to establish a crypto digital based currency like all other nations have been moving towards. Right, this is how you know it's the powers that be, they're pushing towards this, they're moving towards this, man. Right, and this is all prophecy, man. This is something we told you, we told y'all. I'll end it with one more. Habakkuk 2. Habakkuk, Habakkuk, however you want to call it. Right? Habakkuk, the second chapter, it says, I'll start at 2. It says, and the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak. And this is all prophecy, man. Okay, this is something that we spoke about through the Spirit, starting with our apostles for years now. When I first came in this, they were teaching it. They taught it the same way. There's going to be a digital currency. The Revelation 13 is that mark is speaking about a physical implantable device that goes inside you, and you can it's going to be used as a monetary system as well as files. You're going to keep a whole bunch of files in there, a whole bunch of information, but mainly it's going to be used as a way to control the people. Right? This is something that were taught by the apostles since I came in. Before I came in, it didn't change. While you have other groups, every year it's a new fucking breakdown. It's a new fucking breakdown. Pretty soon they're not gonna be able to have no new breakdowns. They're gonna, and like this nigga Nate the Snake is doing. They're gonna try to weasel their way into the fact that the RFID chip, that mark of the beast that we've been speaking about, or apostles are speaking about for years, is actually that mark is actually referring to that RFID chip, that digital currency. So, all right, that's pretty much it. Actually, let me finish this. It says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry, right? So that's what we got to wait for. We got to wait for these prophecies to unfold, right? Because they're going to come, and they're speaking, right? That vision wasn't so clear. I'll say this, it's not as clear as it is 5, 10, 15 years ago, 20, 30 years ago. But the closer we get to the prophecies, like I said, that technology is already here. But as far as it being forced upon the people, right, when it says he causeth all, right, that point we're inching closer to. That's right, we're right at the door. Okay? So really, the things to watch out for is the chip, then the wars. Okay? World War III isn't going to start before the MOTB. The MOTB is going to be, or they're going to be really close. They're going to be closer together. So I don't care what they say in the news right now. World War III isn't going to pop off next week. I hope it does. But I'll say this: if World War III does pop off next week, we're gonna somehow miraculously. I can't even say that because the RFID, the mark of the beast, has to be further in its prophecy. It's got to be like we gotta that technology has to be closer than what it is now, right? So that's how I can confidently say that World War III isn't gonna take place next week, right? Because a few things have to happen, right? Like they just did this law. They just did this law, so a few things have to uh, uh, go in its place. It has to happen before World War III goes down, right? So, all right, that's pretty much it. I'll leave this article in the description. Lord willing, your brothers and sisters were edified. Until the next show, shalawam.